So welcome everyone, and I'm so happy that you're here. So I think what we'd like to do today is hear from you about how you responded to Teju Cole's visit.
What really stuck out to me was when he talked about the camera and how the camera was initially designed to bring out white skin and black skin was less photographable by the camera.
I specifically remember this one quote that he used while referring to the Derek Chauvin trial. He said, "Why are police trained to use deadly violence to protect property?" And I think there was so much intention behind the word property. You can clearly tell that he was referring to the dark history in our country of slavery.
I think for me, something that really resonated with me was his definition of citizenship. And I think, before his conversation, I always thought of citizenship as more so just what it says on your passport. For me, I'm a citizen of the United States of America. But him, after his conversation, I think it really showed me that, we are all actually global citizens. And that's a different type of responsibility that we have to have.
I think I can tie in this notion of innocence, and that when the opposite of innocence is involved, everything we do has an impact somewhere else. Like, for example, if we plant a tree here, that means more oxygen for the world.
How does that feel though? How does that sit with you guys about, like, when he said, you can't claim innocence? Don't you feel a little innocent around these things?
I'd say yes, personally, because I haven't experienced a lot of the violence and the racism and whatnot personally, but I don't feel that I'm innocent to it in the fact that I don't acknowledge it. I think that's how we can not be innocent about it, is acknowledge it and talk about it.
We have a choice. We could say, I'm innocent, I don't do this, therefore I'll go back to my innocent life and not get involved. Or we can choose to work to address a problem in order to, like Daniel said, think globally and make change locally.
You can be silent and not, have said anything harmful or anything offensive, but silence speaks volumes when you choose to not acknowledge the issues going around in our world.
And I'd also say, we all have so many different identities. So, really, to a certain extent, none of us are innocent. And there's always something that we can learn and always try to, I think, improve ourselves in that way.
I just think that you aren't innocent just because you haven't done anything bad. But if you decide to stay silent, you are just allowing these things to continue without, holding anyone accountable.
With the amount of information that is coming at us, it's impossible for us to separate ourselves from anything, right? Violence against Asian people, violence against Black people, violence against gay people, people's rights being taken away. We can't really separate ourselves. So what's your response to that?
The fact that we have internet now, it means that everyone is connected and that everyone can have an impact on everyone else. We are all we're separated, but we're all connected because we can't actually isolate ourselves completely. There is no way to be apart from everyone else.
So I think also social media, one of the things that makes it so addictive and entertaining is the fact that it's designed to you. TikTok has For You pages, Instagram has Explore pages, and all these things are kind of things that you engage with and that you are already accustomed to. So you never really get to see any different ideas in a way.
One of the reasons we were just so excited to have him here is because he's so creative. He's an artist in every sort of way. And he brings all these big ideas that you all are talking about into his art.
I see Teju Cole as a curator and a connector of cultures, biases, beliefs, and people.
He was talking about being careful and having purpose when you do just anything, specifically with his writing. He said something along the lines of, humans being careful in their work and their creation will lead to us as humans being sustained.
poetry is an expression of our inner selves. Poetry doesn't just necessarily mean I'm reading a line that rhymes with another line on a piece of paper. Poetry can be just something we express even in words or feelings or emotions. Even things we don't express can be considered poetry.
So what brings you hope?
One thing that brings me hope is the fact that the world is changing, The ideas of the past are in the past. We're starting to learn new things. It's almost like a revolution. Our mindsets are changing.
I think for me, it's seeing others and people gathering in order to fight against things that bring us despair. Especially for me, as an Asian American, seeing a lot of the recent Stop Asian Hate.
I think that in order to have something that gives us hope, we have to feel sort of despair to differentiate from it. It's like the low is despair, attaining that knowledge purposefully and intentionally seeking out the things that can bring us pain and that do bring us pain. And then rising from that, trying to find ways to combat that.
I think, with our generation, just being heard is just like a beacon of hope, because I feel like, because we are a younger generation, older generations would look down on us and think that you don't have as much life experience, you aren't as wise, you haven't been through as much as we have. But the fact that, social media provides an outlet in a way for us to be heard, for us to connect with other people.
Well, thank you all. You give me hope. Honestly, you're so wonderful and so articulate and involved, and you're thinking for yourselves. That brings me hope.